Goddess Realm. Here on this channel, I talk about all things to stay in alignment with God. And I also talk about how we can unlock that inner goddess within us. So if that is something that is interested to you, please like, subscribe, and stay tuned to this next video. So in today's video, I am going to talk about how we are more than the roles that we play in life. It is a blessing to be in the roles that we have, but it is also important like, what am I trying to say? It's also important to have the awareness that you are more than the roles that you play in life. You're more than a mom, you're more than a wife, you're more than your career. The most important thing there is having your connection with God and having your connection with yourself. So this was the lesson that I had to be reminded of about 2 weeks ago, and I decided to make a video on it. So here we are, due to life lessons. So I personally feel like at times I can struggle. I'm still like, it's gotten better since being a mom, but sometimes I feel like I struggle with balancing all the roles that I have in life. And sometimes I can get overwhelmed. Sometimes I can feel hopeless, depressed, honey, the list goes on. But what I have found during those challenging times is what keeps me grounded, what gives me the courage to keep going on each and every day is my connection with God and the connection that I have with myself. So I've already hit a lesson for you, like, make sure you're staying connected with God and make sure you're staying connected with yourself, your inner self. Make sure you know what's going on in your inner world so you're not projecting all of that into the outer world. Yes. That's what we're going to talk about today. So the first part of this video, I'm going to talk about a story time. Then I'm going to talk about the 2 lessons that I've learned regarding how I am more than the roles that I play in life. 2 weeks ago, I went to go see Cat Williams with my husband. It was an amazing date. But mind you, if you watch my other videos, I'm on this journey of learning how to undo perfectionism in my mind. So that takes a lot of awareness and observation to see if I'm stepping back into those cycles, into those patterns where I'm falling into, if it's not going my way, it's wrong. If it's not going my way, it's wrong. And what I've had to come to realize is that God's way, God's timing, that is perfect. That is perfect. And I want to be in line with what God has in store for me, not what I have in store for myself. I can get in my own way, and that leads to self-sabotaging. So that is a whole nother journey that I'm on. But mind you, I was looking forward to this date. We probably bought the tickets like a month and a half before the actual show, but the whole week I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm looking forward to my date night with my husband. And then this is where I can start playing ideas, plans, these images are in my mind, like, okay, this is how things have to look in order for it to be perfect. Just crazy. Something I'm working on. But that day was the most challenging day out of that week, and I personally feel like throughout that week I was already kind of struggling once again because I wasn't connecting with God the way that I needed to. I was being disobedient. Kind of like how I'm making this video 2 weeks later. I wasn't connecting with God the way that I was supposed to, and I was already feeling off because of that. And then the actual day came, that Friday. Everything that I was thinking of how it had to be, of course, didn't go as planned at all, which is okay. It still was a beautiful night. It was more than I could possibly imagine. So that was God. I had a plan like, hey, we need to drop Zai off at this time. We need to go out to eat before we go to the show so that we're not drinking on empty stomachs. Like, my mind has this bizarre way of planning things, and if it doesn't go my way, it feels like the world is just like my world is ending. Just saying. I'm dramatic. So even though things didn't go as I planned, it still was a beautiful night. Things worked out to God's timing, and I had an amazing time with my husband. It was a while since we had a date night. It's important to still date after kids, and it was nice to have a long time just to spend time with my husband, and I got to enjoy that. So the first lesson is stop avoiding God and stop avoiding yourself. Stop avoiding God and stop avoiding yourself. So the first question that I have, I'm looking at my phone, I have my notes on my phone. The first question I have is, how can I continue to pour into people around me if I'm not filling my cup with God's presence? How can I be of service to other people if I'm not filling my cup with God, with God's presence? It's like, I can do that. I can do that. I can. Let's be real. I can. But it's exhausting. Like, it's exhausting trying to figure things out on my own. It's exhausting trying to take on the world on my own. It's exhausting to try to build my dreams on my own. It's exhausting because trying to do all those things on my own, it just, sometimes I feel like I can get there. But I feel like the best way of getting there is with the help of God. God knows what is best for you. God knows what your plan is. All you have to do is stay tuned with God, ask God, and the answers will be revealed to you. But you're not going to get those answers if you're not spending time with God. I just personally have learned that it's best for me to spend time in God's presence, allow that time with God to fill my cup so that I can pour into people in the most abundant way possible. The next question is, how can I continue to pour into others when I neglect myself? I can pour into others while neglecting myself, but I don't feel like that is the best way of doing that. My cup has to be filled in order to fill other people's cups. When my cup is empty, I just feel like, and then pouring into other people, it's once again, it's exhausting, and I don't feel like I'm living life to the fullest potential because I'm not living in the way that God wants me to. By neglecting myself, putting myself on the back burner, I don't believe that God created me to do that. The ways how I have been neglecting myself or avoiding myself is by numbing my mind, taking a lot of time and a lot of pleasures that numb issues short term, such as being on social media too much, watching a lot of TV, like doing things that, you know, that doesn't really serve you, that doesn't really serve a purpose for you. Those things. Yeah, it's just when I do those things, I don't feel like myself. I don't feel like the best version of myself, and that's what I want to be. I want to be the best version of myself for that day. I know that's gonna change each day. It's not gonna be perfect, but I want to be the best version of myself that day and continue to do what I need to do so that I continue to do that the next day. I can't do that if I'm neglecting myself and by not having a relationship with God. Like, did that for a very long time and I'm done living that way. Okay guys, in the comments, can you talk about a time that you have avoided God and what are you doing to change that? The second part of the lesson that I learned is the importance of surrendering to God and letting go. And I feel like that's kind of like the message it's kind of been like a few tests have been like that. They kind of get a little harder and harder. And I'm just like, oh God, you really want me? Oh God, you really want me to let go? You don't want me to do nothing else? There ain't nothing else I can do. Okay, let me let go. Like, let me let go. So that is what I had to do that day. There was a moment in time in the car when I was kind of feel like I was really going through it. I had to talk to myself and ask myself, do I want to continue feeling bad or during this day, or do I want to change and make a mindset shift change so that I can enjoy the rest of the evening? I just felt like that day everything was going wrong. I think about it now, it's silly. Think about it now, it's silly. Like, I really be trying to prepare the best way that I can, and when things don't, even though I be preparing hard, it gets to me. It can make me upset. I remember that day I gave my daughter a bath early in the morning just to have to give her another bath later. Like, if you know, you know, toddlers are nasty, okay? It was disgusting, so she had to get cleaned. We didn't drop her off at the time that I thought we would because, you know, she had to take a nap, we had to feed her. You know, it's just like being a parent. Being a parent, you can't make a child be on your schedule. You kind of have to be on that child's schedule a little bit. But it was just a challenging day. So it was that. We weren't able to eat before going on the date, which is a little frustrating. We did have like a little snack, but I wanted us to like have a meal to go out and really talk, not fast food. But it was okay. It was okay. It was okay. It's just learning how to surrender. Like, after all those things, like, I had to tell myself, you can surrender, let go, or you can keep holding on and you're gonna keep being miserable. You're not gonna be able to enjoy yourself tonight. So I decided to let go, and it ended up being a very beautiful night. I laughed hard. I didn't think I could. But not like that. It's just nice. It's just a different experience, and if I would have been stuck in the negative mindset, I would have made that a negative experience for myself. Yeah, those were the lessons that I learned. I hope this video benefits you in some way, some aspect, some form. My prayer to you in this moment is, I pray that going forward you see that you are worthy, that you see yourself as deserving to spend time with God, to spend time with yourself, and to really get to know who God created you to be. Don't put yourself on the back burner anymore. You deserve more, you deserve better. And yeah, I love you guys. Stay tuned to the next video next week. I'm so proud of myself. I've been getting a little bit more consistent. I'm learning how to allow my light to shine, and it feels good. It feels good to not be afraid of my own light. That is the lesson I've been learning this week. But yeah, stay tuned. Bye.